So I'm sure amongst the hundreds of the audience here, many would be parents, many would have interacted with children, and many on a day-to-day basis will be working with children. So the topic here is creativity through hands-on experience. So in the chat box, I would love for each of you to just mention one incident which you saw around you and you felt that yes, the child was very creative. Yes, this is something different. Something which you could say I would remember for life. If you got all, please type out one such incident in the chat box. Great. Your child doing Lego with animals. So one incident of creativity you saw in a child, might be a student, might be your child, might be a relative. All assignments and projects. Few children made rain gods, very nice. Created a dish for parents. He's of UKG, but he's done something really nice. Made a robot that will get to NASA, working with soil, origami. Oh, a pen as a kid is better than her. Wow. So a child was able to present a concept better than a teacher. Wonderful. Do some quill work. Very nice. Create new things from waste. Headlights for his bicycle with his night lamp. Very nice. Thank you. Okay. So now everything put in simple words. Creativity just has three simple stages. All right. So one is imagining. So in this phase, what will happen is a child will come to with multiple questions. For example, as simple as why is the earth round? So why do I hear a sound even after that vehicle is not here? So here is a stage of inquisitivity. So here what happens is multiple questions, multiple inputs. They would come back, they would express, that ask so many questions. So here what happens is we need to ensure that a child is free to ask. That is stage one. Stage two, like multiple parents and multiple educators have already shared, the child is able to express in a known form. For example, origami. See something from the internet, build some nice origami art, do some nice painting, build a robot, and finally, in the innovative phase, apply everything that has been imagined and created, bring in own inputs, and try to make something that is new. So these are the simple ways you can see creativity in a child. And this is a sequence. Let's say you find a child in the imagination phase. The child needs some motivation and some small push to do something. Say for example, I'll tell my mom, I'm going to make a robot. That robot is going to take us to Mars. Or I'm going to make a rocket. I'm going to become a rocket scientist. So all this is imagination. Now, for creation from a parent side, what we would say is that's a really nice idea. So why don't you start with building a small robot? Make sure this robot can take me not to Mars, maybe to the next room, or maybe bring this from the kitchen for me, or maybe clean the house for me. So that would be a creative phase wherein lots of ideas are coming in, some basic prototypes are made, and also implement what is already present. YouTube videos, courses, staff support, inputs from friends, all that can come in here. And finally, coming to the innovation phase. Here, something that is not already present, something which is a fragment of child's imagination is going to come and become real. For example, a robot that cleans the entire house will be an innovation from a child's perspective. Now, why is the child doing this? To help the parent, to reduce the work, and make sure mom's able to spend more time with the child. So here is something very special. Why is the child innovated? What is the motivation behind the child's innovation? So all these small things, when recorded, understood, and finally used to make sure the child is guided further. Now, in this, what we can understand is, let's say a child has made a robot to help mom with the kitchen or help the parent with the kitchen to clean the house and all. So now we understand that couple of things. The first understanding is the child is interested in electronics, robotics and all. Second, the child is subconsciously interested in helping someone. So that is the nature of innovation the child is pursuing. Third, the child loves to tinker. The child is kinesthetic. The child would like to do something with the hands. So all these are things you can observe with these three simple stages based on how a child is doing things. Now coming to the second thing. So here, I'm sure a lot of educators here, there is also creativity in something very, very small, something we see regularly in school as well. So can the educators here give me some inputs as to, in school, where do you think the child has scope to be creative? Some instance where you can say the child was creative, please. In the chat box again, I'll wait for your inputs. So creativity has no place or to be restriction. It can happen anywhere. So from your house, from school, anywhere you can just see a child's creativity. Yes, a ground is an empty classroom, right? Now let's just say I want to teach them a very simple topic. So this is something which all of us see very frequently. Speed, distance, and time. Correct? So now we're going to see how in a hands-on way we can learn this particular topic. So we all know that speed is equal to distance by time. Correct? So let's just say I'm covering 60 kilometers in a span of 1 hour. My speed is going to be 60 kmph. Now, this all of us would give multiple problems. The train is going in this speed, car A is going this side, car B is coming from that side. When will they meet? So all these are kinds of questions which children will actually see in a classroom. Now, next thing a child would see is, I've learned all this. From this, where am I going to implement all this learning in real life? This would be something standard you can expect from a child. Okay. The next thing we do is, now let's say a child is also learning robotics. The child is doing their own project. They can also do their own coding, build their own robot. All that is done. Next phase, they also learn this. This is the Pythagoras theorem. So in this, they understand that to go from A to C, I don't need to go from I don't need to go from A to B and B to C, but the shortest distance would be from A to C. Now, how do we combine these two concepts into one and implement this concept into a learning? So in first option, I know how to calculate my distance. I know how much speed is possible. And here I know where is the starting point and where is the ending point which I have to go to. Now, for example, let's just say this, if you all can see my video, this is a robot that a child is going to build, for example. Okay, now this robot is having wheels. So point one, I need to calculate what is the distance, speed and time. So to do that, what the child will first do is, the child is going to see what is the circumference of my wheel. So how much distance can it cover in just one rotation? Second, by this, I can calculate the distance from point A to C. I have two options. I can go really fast. Sorry, can you go on mute, please? Holders, can you please go on mute, please? Thank you. Now, I know what is the distance it can travel per rotation of the wheel. Second, I can also control the speed with which the robot is going to move. And third, I can also decide how do I reach point C from point A. So here, the child can decide to go really fast, A to B and B to C. Second, the child can choose to go really slow from A to C. Third, follow a really fast route from A to C. Now in this, the child has not only learned the formula in mathematics, which is for speed, distance and time, and not only try to figure out that the hypotenuse is the shortest distance to go from point A to C. And the child also learns to calculate the circumference. The child also learns to calculate how to control the speed so that I can achieve whatever I want to achieve as an objective. And most importantly, the child also thinks critically and creatively to make sure that the required solution is achieved. And the one more good thing is, when application happens, there's always something that happens together. For example, with collaboration. Now, let's say a team of 2 or 3 children are trying to do something like this. Now, child 1 will say, let's go from A to C, let's go really fast. But let's say child 2 would say, let's go from A to B and then B to C and let's go really fast. And then the child 3 will say, to go from A to C, we need to make a lot of calculations, decide the angle in which the robot has to move, and then make it move. It is going to take some time. Now here, something very interesting happens. Let's say we all go to a job in a corporate. The first thing you would say is, how good are you in a team? Are you able to give a solution for the problem? So here what happens is, we have got a lot of inputs from all the three, and they're going to try each of the solution practically, and they're going to come back and say, hey, this is best. We've tried A, B, and C, but this works out to be the best. So here, the net outcome in the hands-on in a creative way is, one, creativity and critical thinking in terms of what all are the possible solutions, logical thinking in terms of saying, okay, this is the distance, how far it has to go. They learn even computational thinking. Collaboration because they come to a final decision as a team, and most importantly, communication here because, in my opinion, creation is nothing but creativity and expression together. So when both happens, it becomes a creation. So here, there's a way for a child to exhibit in a hands-on way. So robotics is just one of the medium in which a child can express what the child is thinking. And this is what we call as the 21st century skills. It is nothing but, as the topic simply suggests, creativity in a hands-on way. So one, what happens with this way of thinking is, the way a child approaches a problem would change completely. So the steps would be, point one, what is my problem? So now here, critical thinking and creativity comes into play and says, I have solution A, solution B, and solution C. And then they would learn and they would implement and they would see which is the best solution as a team, which would come to the collaboration. And finally, they would communicate together saying that, hey, solution C, and make sure that I get to my point in a way that, as required by my objective, the problem statement has been solved. So when everything happens together, it is a complete solution. Now, Uday, people ask me, Uday, you're saying that robotics is this, robotics is that, and like I say always, robotics is not the only thing through which a child is creative. It's just one of the means for a child. It has multiple ways. A child has multiple openings and multiple fields out there, but this is just one simple example. So what you're seeing right here is a girl from Chidambaram, a remote village or remote town in Tamil Nadu. So her mother is a nurse in Australia. So this girl had moved there with her mother, and she got she got to work with a company called Stem Cell Foundation. So here, what she did a very interesting project. So whenever the moisture level in the soil that is there in a plant, immediately a message will be received to the owner or to the gardener saying that, please water me. And this was done by somebody as young as age 11, and this was featured in 10 news in Australia. So yes, so first step, the child was having imaginative thinking. So next, a child want to implement something, and third, we have a creation phase where the child has actually delivered a product. And imagine this is being done by somebody as young as 11. So today, this girl is almost 20 years old. This is news from as back as almost 9 years. So if somebody could do this almost 9 years back, imagine what potential the future holds. So now we have all the more resources, all the more options, all the more technologies and sources to learn from, and a child has multiple venues to express. So one solution. So when we saw this, we thought, okay, this is something really interesting. Let's take it back and do it in India. So we started working with children from, it's even a very underprivileged community. This is an orphanage. So why I'm bringing this here is, one, creativity has many forms, and two, creativity has no limitation. So here, these children have never seen a laptop in their life. They don't know what coding is. They can barely speak English, but they were able to make their own stuff. And also, we made sure that whatever they're going to learn was completely made in India, and we made sure the cost was less. So these children were learning from us just 1 hour a week for just 12 weeks, and finally, they were able to win a national level contest, first place, competing with top private schools. They were able to make their own robot. So if you see here, all they had was an opportunity. So what we need to create as educators is just a mere opportunity so that these children are able to express. All of us will definitely agree that a child's creativity has absolutely no limit. This is just what we expose the child to and what we let the child to do. Now let's just say somebody said, hey, there's no use of robotics, let the child not do that. Let them learn English rather. Would the child in that orphanage got a chance to build a robot and win a national level contest? No. So here, what I would request all educators is let the child choose. It doesn't have to be robotics, it doesn't have to be math, it doesn't have to be science, it can be anything. Music, dance, art, anything. Even sports is a very beautiful thing. So what we need to do as educators is you can understand how the child's creativity is only by observing, two, by being inquisitive. Now I would go to a child and say, hey, what do you like to do? Now let's just say the child says, I like to dance. Great, good form. And second is by observing. Now we take a child's notebook or see a child in art class doing some random scribblings, encourage them in that particular way. So make sure we give them that spacing and the time to pursue whatever they wish. And this went so well that even the paper started featuring the children. So these children were featured in paper and now they even got sponsors.
हाँ
Friends, you can
भैया.
please go on mute if you're not talking. Thank you. So yeah, so these children have come to a point where they even have received scholarships by something as simple as being creative, being hands-on, and expressing their creativity. So this is not just this. We all had stories of where a 14-year-old has built an IT firm. Yes, Mr. Sanjay. So context is just that you just let the child pursue. It doesn't matter where they're from, what they know, what they don't know. A child will learn. If a child decides to do something, the child will pursue. You just need to be supportive, just give them resources, what they ask for, and then you'll definitely see the output. So this experiment or this understanding is just that anything is possible if the child is allowed to pursue the child's passion, and you just observe how creative the child is going to be, and you just let the child with the right resources, you're going to see the output of what is going to happen. That is why we got in Do It Yourself Academies as the company I represent. So we are into robotics education. So now one other simple question. So here is another problem statement which I would pose to you as educators, and I would like to see the creativity and in which a hands-on way you'll be able to explain the same thing to a normal or to a young child. So I'm not sure how many of you have a computer science background here, but these are two interesting concepts or the basic concepts in computer science, which maybe somebody only in 11th or 12th would go through. Now on the left, you see something called polling, and on the right, you see something called interrupt. So for example, in polling, what happens is the code will do the same thing again and again. In case of an interrupt, what will happen is if something happens, the code would go and do some other program and come back to the main program if something that was wrong has been corrected. Now, can someone give me a simple example in a creative way with which you can explain the same concept easily to a child? So this is the concept. So in polling, you're going to do the same, look at the same thing, keep doing the same thing till your task has been achieved. In case of an interrupt, you're going to be doing some work. If that code or that thing is not been achieved or there's some other external situation that has come in, you're going to go fix that, come back and keep doing what you're doing. Now this is a concept. Now there, this concept was explained by a child in a very creative way to us. So can someone take a chance and let me know how this can be done in a very simple way? So it will not take too much time. So I'll just give you the answer. So in case of the polling, it's something like you put milk on the stove and your mom says, hey, I put milk on the stove. If the milk is boiling, switch off the stove. So what you do, you just go there and stand. You keep looking at the milk. You keep looking at if it's going to overflow. And as soon as it's going to overflow, you're going to switch it off. But in case of an interrupt, let's say you're building a robot by yourself and your mom says, I put cooker on the stove. If you get 3 whistles, put it on sim, and after 5 minutes, switch it off. So what you will do, you will be doing your work and you count 1 whistle, 2 whistle, 3 whistle. And immediately what you do, as soon as third whistle has been heard, you stop what you're doing, you go there, put it on sim, come back and keep doing what you're doing. So this is a normal concept which a child can creatively explain to you and implement the same in such that, okay, I'm monitoring my house. Now let's just say a thief has entered my house. Immediately, I'm going to sound the buzzer. And once the alarm has been given, the buzzer has been activated, the thief is going to understand, okay, they have been caught, and thief is going to run away. So once the thief runs away, and once everything has been done and police checks and things get back to normal, again the normal code will run. So this is a simple way in which you can actually implement things in daily life, things we learn in the book, and make sure that we have a very hands-on way of doing things which we just want to think out loud, be imaginative, and create. So we need to give that opportunity for children to become future ready. And children will obviously do miracles. And this is a child who's early as 7. And children have even gone to an extent where they've been featured on the print, mass media, and all that. And we're going to a world where man and robot have to coexist. So this will be a foundation, like Lata ma'am had actually asked, Uday, why do you think this robotics is going to help a child in the future? So just like the school is doing a wonderful job equipping the children for the future, even in the case of robotics, whatever they learn in terms of technology, they're actually mapped to careers. So when these careers they're able to understand at a very young age in a hands-on way, they get to understand what they want to pursue as a career. And when this is done, they know they're going to choose this, say in engineering or any other field they want to do. They know what they want to choose: computer science, mechanical, electronics, EC, triple E. There are multiple options. So when these domains a child is able to understand in a very early age, the clarity of thought will be achieved. Second thing, what a child will achieve is the actual life skills, wherein the child learns to work as a team, learns to be expressive, learn to communicate to an entire class. Hey, this is what I've done. Think in a way to solve a problem. So many a parent have told that. So once the child goes through a class of robotics, the way they think is changing. Their approach to a problem is going to change and say, okay, these are my solutions. I'm going to do this. So that is a very important life skill, which we as adults pursue. So whenever you face a problem, you think, what is the best solution? So that is going to come at a very early age, and this happens. So the life skills and the technology skills for the future, along with the support of the school education, the child will be future ready to pursue any problem the child may face with.